What's up, y'all? This is China here from the China Show, and there's no other way than I'd rather be spending my Sunday with my guy, KOOMASAE. We're over here having a very grounded conversation in beautiful nature. We're talking about Death and Rebirth. We're talking about the album. We're talking about the transition. And honestly, man, it's peaceful as fuck out here. Hold on. Deep breaths. Stay tuned for the interview, y'all. What is the difference between being KJ and KOOMASAE?
KJ was really finding himself, figuring out. It's always a trial and error, but I feel like, especially with the music, I was just exploring a little more. Like my first tape as KJ mixtape is called The Introduction. So I knew I was just getting my feet in the water as we sit here, on the lake. But yeah, so yeah, KJ was just doing a lot more experiment and finding himself. And KOOMASAE, I'm still experiencing new things and trying new things, but I feel like I'm a lot more clear on where my path is, and yeah, it's a new beginning.
Would you say that the sound fluctuates?
Yeah. So,
within KJ and KOOMASAE?
Yeah, the sound just overall sonically is a lot more fitting. My brother DJ Crescent, Andres, different producers that I work with, Brando, like I found people that are not only producing for me, but they understand me, like they brothers, you know what I mean? So when we creating, it's more than just getting the beat and throwing something together. We really coming from a place of like conversations we've had, and it's a lot more intimate and intricate as well.
What was your favorite song on the album?
So every record on the tape like touched me in multiple ways, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, like all the above. But the last record on there, The Passover, and I named it that because I felt like that was the actual Passover into KOOMASAE. And that record, I had told my brothers, like, don't drop it unless the last line on that record, I say, or they could drop this when I drop dead, because the music gonna live on forever. So that's how I felt for the longest. Like, we had recorded that some time back, but I thought that one was just for me. And like, when death came, but it was really, it was off of meditation, and I was asking for a sign. And my biggest fan, Gordo, long live Gordo. A lot of what's in this tape is, the pain that I was feeling from when he passed.
Explain. That was literally the next question that I was getting ready to ask you. Who were the significant people in your life that passed away in order for you to kind of look at death this way?
Yeah, so the first close person that I lost to me was my great-grandmother, and she had a big impact. And my biggest fan, Gordo, he was like my biggest fan, that obviously, but he was like a brother. He was my uncle, but he was just a lot more. He was like a friend too. Now it's like, yeah, with that last record, I asked him for a sign, like, do I drop this? And I got the sign right then and there. So I know he's still listening, and yeah, that's inspiration, I guess what you would say. And that record, Gorilla Glue, is like about him, and I mentioned my big mom, my grandmother. So she the realest woman I done ever knew. You know, create a family that could stick together like Gorilla Glue. We still trying to fathom how to make it through the law.
The candlelight visual. Let's like get more into detail about that. I've never seen any type of release party ever done this way, so I'm gonna have to give it to you, KOOMASAE, because yeah, I've never seen anyone do it that way, and I'm pretty sure for you too. I mean, I'm trying to me being at my own candle, like I'm pretty sure that was kind of hitting you a certain way, because even if you weren't there, it would have been the same situation of how it would have probably went down.
Yeah, so the idea came about when I was in Jamaica, actually. My last night staying like where the local area where I was staying for the first week, I was like, I want to go get some food at the market. So we were walking down and we see candles on each side of the street, just cups with sand and candles. And then we got our food and people started lighting the candles, and I had already been thinking like, oh, someone passed, and I asked my brother David that was there. He's a local, and I was like, is this what they do when someone passes? And he was like, yeah, Mom, yeah. So I was just like, man, that's divine. It's divine that I'm here with the death and the rebirth in mind, and you know, this is what I'm experiencing. So once I came home and was putting the tape together, I was like, I think I'm gonna do a candlelight. And that in itself, like even when I was making the flyers and posting them, I had a few people that were like, you scared me for a second. Like, you know?
Right. How long were you living as KOOMASAE before the album dropped?
I feel like I've always been KOOMASAE, but there were times leading up into the release date where I felt like I was letting go of KJAY and stepping into KOOMASAE fully. But I've always been KOOMASAE, but there's like that letting go and that being okay with the death, and then just embracing KOOMASAE fully in all aspects.
How would you say that you're going to continue to stay connected to KJAY?
I look at it like a parent, you know, that got kids. They take pictures of them when they're young and they got the memories. So that's how I look at myself with KJAY. I have the memories. I have some things that stay that are physical, like art and, you know, the physical things as well. But yeah, just keeping the memory and moving forward.
How would you say everyone is receptive to this album?
So I feel it's been received very well. Usually coming into release, I get like real anxious and my emotions are all over the place, especially when I'm releasing something that's vulnerable.
I appreciate you, KJAY, for just being so vulnerable here on the China Show and kind of letting me into your world. And the comfortability of what you feel with Death Rebirth. It's been really enlightening, and I also feel like that's maybe something that us all need to do, you know what I mean? And maybe we shouldn't look at death in such a traumatic way, or, you know what I mean? But sometimes like we do need to take that step for the new person that we're going to be. What would you say on that album is the most impactful lyric that you've done? What can you leave us off with?
The most impactful lyric. See, there's so many, but the one that's just coming to mind is like, I ain't afraid to die because my soul's still living. So, with that being said, like, not being afraid of death, being aware, like, you might feel down, you might have all these emotions that come along with it, with death, with people you love, and within yourself. But, like, the main thing, just being aware and embracing it and not shaming yourself for how you feel, and yeah, thinking on your own and knowing that the soul is still living, so you can still connect. And that's the main thing, my intention with this album, with this tape, because I feel like it holds weight like an album, but it's 4 records, so I'm calling it a project or a tape, or some people might call it an album. But my intention was just to connect and be vulnerable and be of service and give my greatest gift, which I feel is my ability to express myself through the music and yeah, just connect and inspire.
And that's so powerful. I baptize you now as as KOOMASAE in this body of water, you know.
Few shout outs, man. Shout out my brother DJ Crescent, my brother Andres, the boy Chino, and just my family, my biggest fan, everyone that I've had a conversation with.